the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James JC Cooley. All right.
Africa is rising and the world is watching. This July, Tanzania hosts the Africa Trade and Investment Conference, the TIC 2025. A bold step toward Agenda 2063 and the African Continental Free Trade Area. From youth innovation to women in export, from mining to real estate, from B2B to G2G, this is where transformation happens. Break barriers and be a part of the future of Africa.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer.
Yeah. Dr. James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. JC Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and we got an absolutely superb show coming your way today. I think this topic that this young lady is going to talk about today is well needed. People need to understand certain situations, certain circumstances. And I'm not going to give it away, Michelle. I know you're looking at me thinking I'm going to give away your title. I'm not. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. And me and the guest today, she's a returning guest. We had such a interesting conversation about this topic and so many possible reasons why I'm going to give away the top. It's called Professional Etiquette. It's called Professional Etiquette. And she's only going to be talking about the do's and don'ts, what you need to work on from a professional etiquette perspective. And she's talking mostly, and could be across the board, but about young people, about people graduating college, looking for jobs. But, this can really apply to anybody looking. And there's always, it's all about compromise in certain things, but I'm going to let her tell you all about it.
Yeah, this does apply to everybody, even people with jobs, looking for other jobs or interviewing for the other jobs. I believe there are certain things, certain rules and regulations that we need to apply. So I tell you, whichever platform that you're watching us on, whether you're watching us on E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, and over 80 other platforms. Welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Michelle, can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introducing this absolutely fantastic guest?
Well, yes. So the title of today's show, again, I said, is called Professional Etiquette. And we're having a conversation with author and hobby writer Jennifer Florax. And she's going to talk about her book, Survival Guide for the Working World, and how easing the transition from school to work and behaviors that are expected as you enter the workforce. So, Jennifer Florax considers the basis of her writing to be her life experience, with a desire to share the lessons learned with others to save them a little pain and shave off some time off the learning curve. Jennifer does not claim to be an expert, just a mom who's a share of hard lessons learned and years of experience in all sorts of work environments. She has a bachelor's degree in management with experience in change management and infrastructure asset management. Now, her book, Survival Guide for the Working World, What School Doesn't Teach You, offers tips, tricks, and bite-sized bits to help equip those entering and navigating the workforce, combining humor with serious conversation. The ultimate goal of this book is to make the transition from student to employee less of a shock to the system. So please welcome back to the show, Ms. Jennifer Florax.
Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to be back and chat with you again.
We are so excited to have you back on here, especially this topic that you're going to talk about today. Just like I said.
Oh, James, 1 second. We can't hear you. You have to put your volume up just a little.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little bit better. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said we are so excited to have you back on. You educated our viewers and our listeners so much last time. And you got a new book out here now, and I am excited to talk about that and let's educate our viewers again. So, Jennifer, besides what Michelle, for the people that haven't seen you on the show, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, what made you click, why you're so passionate about what you do?
Oh, that's a hard question. So I grew up in Northern Alberta. I've been here my whole life. I'm a career employee. I've been working since I was 14. I started writing, I needed an outlet. And this particular book, I actually started writing about 10 years ago. Published it in 2017. Just looking to continue to share this information. Most of it came from, again, questions from my children. They were early teens when I started writing this. And I also had some students through my full-time job and talked with them and was a little confused why they didn't know some simple behaviors and professionalisms that in my head were inherent and should be inherent. And I just started writing them down. And then suddenly I had 19 chapters, and then I just continued building it from there.
So why it's so important that people entering the workforce understand professional etiquette, and people that are working already that might be changing jobs, have been in a job so long that they have forgot how to interview?
Well, interview skills is one thing. Professional etiquette is really having the appropriate behaviors for a workplace. It's not the same as playing with your friends or talking with your friends or a high school reunion. It's got a very distinct language, I would say, of behaviors, and it comes down to your interactions with people, how you present, how you show up at work, how you participate in work, and other people depend on you. So it's important that you understand your role that helps facilitate other people in their roles.
How do I say the company, the organization help promote etiquette, or help promote building up on the talented people that they have in their organization, so that they understand what their jobs are?
I think organizations in my head should really lay out the expectations of the job. And that doesn't mean the tasks. That means we have a specific culture that we strive for here. We have expectations of when you should and shouldn't be in the office. Even setting the tone at a meeting to say, okay, we have a guest speaker. Close your laptops and turn your phones off, to give that guest speaker that respect. That guest speaker or teacher or whatever training that you're doing or something at work, put time and effort into building a presentation, took time out of their day to talk to you. So that's, those are the things that we don't think about in this fast-paced world anymore, because we have that mobility effort with a laptop in front of us to keep working constantly, when we should be stopping and taking that time to engage with people and the topics that they're either educating us on or asking us advice on.
For people that are there, in the organization, that clearly don't think that they bring any meaning to the company or the organization, what would you say to leadership on how they can encourage, not just from the top down, but from the bottom up, with the ideals where even people at the bottom have great ideas, and not just the people at the top? We got about 2 minutes before the break, about 2 minutes.
Conversation, setting the, some bosses say they have like an open door policy. If they say that, then they should demonstrate that. Blocking time in their calendar, coming out of their office, leaving their door actually open, which has actually happened, where they say they have an open door and it's closed all the time. Ensuring that they mingle with their people, and having maybe an agenda item. If you have a regular meeting with a staff member, how are you doing? What do you need to do your job? As a leader, your job should be to remove the barriers for your staff so they can get the job done. And then just continuous encouragement on, this is what I need to see from you. What do you need? And that should be reciprocal. It's like, boss, this is what I need to get my job done. And hopefully you have that open and trusting relationship where you can do that.
You mentioned open door policy. You're right. In many cases, there is no such thing with an open. I always had an open door policy, but a lot of leaders that didn't.
I remember one many years ago that their secretary would stop people even though the door was open. So it was kind of like this barrier that you couldn't get through. So, it was very intimidating.
I tell you what, we're gonna take a station break. And I'll tell you, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any questions that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Dr. JC Cooley, the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm sitting here and thoroughly enjoying this discussion with Jennifer. And I tell you what, she getting ready. We getting ready to hit it now. So if you want to be part of this conversation, just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. Jennifer, why did you decide to write the book Survival Guides for the Working World?
I wrote this to help people transition from student to employee. Also, sometimes it's a refresher as an employee. You're in the trenches so long that you forget that you're busy doing work rather than understanding how you need to engage with people and some of the behaviors that are expected. But I don't believe they teach simple things anymore, like customer service or answering a phone or even writing an email that you'll get a response from.
So many things in the book. Talk about some of the chapters that you have in this.
Interesting. So I definitely have a chapter on customer service. I think that is such an important piece of etiquette that no matter what industry you're in is something that is deserved. You always have a client or a customer or someone that you're doing a service for in any job that you have. I have an entire chapter on perspective. So seeking perspective of other people, what they need, what they're doing, how it interacts with what you're doing. Simple one on writing an email. Writing an email needs context. It becomes a record. If there's no context, then no one knows what it's for. So really getting rid of, this notion that people aren't reading, which they may not be as much as they should be. But if they go back to it, there's a good record. So not writing in bullets, writing your action up front, making sure there's context and due dates and CCing the correct people, not the world, because that doesn't need to happen. But really just walking through every daily things that you generally do in work, regardless of what industry that you're in, they all apply. Even things like listening versus hearing. Those are two different skill sets that folks don't recognize all the time.
Many times, and you mentioned listening opposed to just talking. A lot of people like to try to talk and show how smart they are, and they're not listening to anything, so they are not learning. That's why God gave us 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth to speak. So what would you tell the viewer out here? I'm talking about not just the college grads that transitioning into the workforce, but the seasoned employee that you had mentioned a second ago, that's been in that position, that job so long, they don't forgot everything. So would that book tremendously help them?
Yeah, it would tweak. It would be a memory bring back that, yes, I did know this. I have to practice it. Any learned skill takes practice, and that includes anything. Listening is a skill that needs to be reminded and learned and practiced.
And you're absolutely right. Listening is a skill, and it's a lot of times it's kind of hard to comprehend, because a person is so used to, not listening and just speaking. Who would be the ideal reader of this book?
I would start with high school graduates looking for their first job, and then definitely college, university graduates that are moving potentially into the professional realm. But high school graduates now, at least in Canada, they need to be at least 18 now. So you no longer have the 14-year-old having a job. And at 18, they need a lot more skills to make themselves shine and stand out during an interview process or during an application process. They need to demonstrate different kinds of skills to make themselves different than any other applicant that's out there.
Do you have an opportunity to go to the high school and talk and teach?
I've gone to a couple of high schools and given a couple of presentations on this topic. And we have a local college here, Northwest College, that I've done some work with on another book, The Hunt, that I have been on here previously with, and I've chatted with them a little bit over the years.
How did your own early career experiences shape the content of your book? I mean, in other words, some of the things that you probably went through kind of shape your thoughts in making sure that others did not have to go through these, or the good things you want to identify. Can you talk about that?
I think my biggest was I had some really great mentors right from the time I was 14, 15 years old. I had supervisors that were willing to tell me, this is how we interact with our customers. This is the type of service that we expect. And weren't hesitant to correct me when I was, maybe going off message or not aligning with company values. And then, I took it to heart myself and learned and changed my behavior. But I noticed that there are, I had some colleagues way back in the day that did not and didn't necessarily keep their job because they refused or didn't want to or expressed no interest in towing the company line of expectations of behavior. So I didn't want to lose my job at 13, 14, 15 years old. And I kind of carried that with me to ensure that, the recognition that I'm there representing this company. It's not Jennifer Florax. It's the company that I'm working for. I am representation of that. And that kind of stuck with me through my career. And then I continued to have some fabulous mentors that made sure that I was always on the right path, and that always really helped me.
What are some of the biggest shocks that most people face when they are entering the workforce for the first time?
I think that they don't know everything. The biggest shock, I'll tell you a secret. My first week of a new job, I'm always quitting. I come home every day and tell my husband, I'm quitting this job. And he just laughs at me and says, no, you're not. You know you're quitting it because you're upset that you don't know everything anymore. When you get used to a position where you know absolutely everything and then you change, it's scary. So change is scary. And you go from a place where you were the go-to person for all information to barely knowing where your desk is hard for people. And then knowing that they're the newest people in the room who know less than everyone else in the room is hard. It's a shock to the system, particularly if you've been in a particular industry for a long time and then changing industries. It's probably the hardest thing ever.
You know, you mentioned in your book, you emphasize on soft skills. First of all, what are soft skills? And secondly, why do you think these are often undervalued in the form of education?
So I'll start with hard skills. So hard skills are data entry, research, writing a paper, engineering, accounting. Those are hard skills. So those are textbook skills that you learn. Soft skills is your communication, your ability to transfer skills. So I know I can communicate. I know that I know data research. I can apply that to another job, or as I mentioned, listening, or answering the phone, customer service, writing. Those are all softer skills that need to be learned and honed over years. They're not necessarily something you graduate with and automatically know how to do. College, university, even high school does teach you how to write, but not in the same language that your particular industry is in. So when you enter a job, there's always jargon. You need to learn that language and then have that ability to translate into plain language when that's really a soft skill, to really get in there, understand what you're writing about, and then translate it into something that either you can understand or someone else can understand. Very, very simply, it's transferable skills that could be used anywhere.
Wow, I never heard anybody put it like that, but that's absolutely fantastic. So you say in Canada, at the high school level, that's when these things should be taught or should be explained. I wish we had something like that in the United States, where the emphasis is placed on the high school and college level, that they understand what soft skills are, hard skills are, they understand what work ethics are, they understand what etiquette. So
I agree. We don't really have anything like that here either. My kids had me, hammering that into them on a regular basis. But I don't know if every other child has the same kind of mom.
But this is so important. What are the top 3 pieces of advice you would give someone starting their first full-time job? We got about 2 minutes before the break. We can pick it up on the second half of the break.
I would say sit and learn. Keep your mouth zipped. Only ask questions. Yeah. Don't interject. In my old job, we did this. Sit there and listen. Listen to whomever they've assigned to onboard you. Ask pertinent questions, very simply, just to gain clarity, not to poke challenges into how that business is operating. You're only there your first 4 days. Don't go in there assuming you know how to fix the world, when you should be there to learn and understand how it works first. So really sitting with someone and just understanding how that business works. and get yourself a mentor, get someone to talk to, someone that'll answer the random questions as well as the clarity seeking questions.
Wow. You know, I do believe that most organizations probably should have people set aside to, you know, on board, not just from a job perspective, but also to mentor and teach the new employees until they feel comfortable doing their job. I believe that would make any organization better because the people feel wanted, and they'll be able to learn from the folks that have been there for a while. And I think that's so important. Yeah, we might take a station break, but we're going to come back. We got a lot more Jennifer Florax that we're going to talk about. And this the topic that we're talking about today is professional etiquette. And I tell you, I'm learning. So I know you're learning. So we're going to take a station break. If you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching us on, just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Michelle Cooley. I've heard so many powerful stories from women who survived heart disease because they took action in time. But I've also heard stories of women who weren't as lucky. The difference? Awareness, access to care, and early intervention. According to the American Heart Association, every 80 seconds, a woman in the United States dies from cardiovascular disease. That's more than one life lost every single minute. But did you know that 80% of heart disease cases are preventable? That's right, 80%. That means small changes like eating healthier, exercising, and managing stress can save lives.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm committed to making sure that more women survive and strive. Please join me in raising funds for the American Heart Association to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, let's spread awareness and help women recognize the warning signs before it's too late. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, just really enjoying this conversation that I'm having with Jennifer Florax. And before we get back to discussion, I'm going to talk about this university called Viridian Christian University. I'm not talking about just because I'm the chancellor, but I truly believe that our university is affordable. We offer over 30 degree programs from bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and honorary doctorate degree programs. We just had a graduation in Dubai where, as the chancellor, I was able to hood the Queen, Queen Nana of Ghana, and the Imperial Crown Prince, and other dignitaries. We're having one in Dallas the 28th of June. And I tell you what, this is what I ask you to do. Look up ViridianChristianUniversity.com. See if there is a program there for you. We are extremely affordable, but we just want to make sure that everybody get an opportunity to excel with their education. ViridianChristianUniversity.com. I want to get back to this great conversation that we have in here. We're talking about professional etiquette, and I just like I said prior to the break, I'm learning so much from this conversation that we have. So, Jennifer, in your view, what are some of the common mistakes new professionals make that could be easily avoided?
Probably the same thing I said just before the break. Walking into a new job as if you own the place, or are anticipated that you're going to take over and climb that ladder really quickly. I would say that patience is needed. Pay your dues, learn the job. You really have to learn from the bottom up to get the experience you need to climb a corporate ladder, if that's your expectation or goal in life. And really, just if you just aren't a nice person, that really is to your detriment in a workplace, because you gain a reputation, and gaining a reputation is good if you have a good reputation as a hard worker, a good employee, a knowledgeable person. But if you are a bully or disrespectful to other people's ideas, that's a different kind of reputation that will follow you. And the world becomes very, very small in particular industries if you gain that kind of a reputation. So, it's the work ethic and the adherence to the company norms that will give you that better reputation that will lend itself to better things in the future.
Well, you talked just a little bit about managing up. Can you elaborate on what that really means and how someone can start doing it?
To work their way up?
Managing up.
Managing up is more of a understanding where you want to go and to work your way up in the organization. So like corporate ladder climbing, that would be those honest conversations with your supervisor or boss or whomever you report to say, this is my goal. This is where I want to get to. And then having that as basically a coaching session to say, this is what I need. And if you have that boss or supervisor that is encouraging, they can say, okay, this is what I need to see from you. So it's that two-way dialogue that you need to be open about what your goals are, but also receive the feedback that will help you be better, and also putting the work in. You can't just pay lip service to, I want to do this. You have to demonstrate that you are capable in your current job before you could ever move up. But it's really that conversation that you have with your boss to say, here's where I want to be. And you have a fantastic boss, which I've had in the past. Here's how we can help you get there. But that means generally you have to put in that work. Your boss is not going to just promote you for fun. They're going to say, I need to see that you can do this work. So it's that managing those expectations of entering the workplace and what you're looking for, but understanding that there's always those possibilities, but you just need to be open and honest and be willing to put work in.
Wow. How can new employees balance confidence and humility? I mean, I know that's a tough one. Confidence and humility in a professional environment.
Um, Listening, really listening. Um, oh, he's going to kill me, but I'm going to use a recent example with a student that has turned out to be fabulous at work. They're always seeking to help. They're always seeking to learn. They're asking for um, to be able to participate in additional projects and work, and always coming back to check, is this what you were looking for? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Can I get some feedback? Which is very important to say, here's where I've made it so far. Am I on the right track? So it's really that learning mode that folks need to do when they enter the workplace, to understand the expectations of them. And if they can check themselves and do the work that they need to do without, I'm losing the words, without being overconfident that they can just take off and do it without any coming back and checking in to say, did I do this properly? Is this what you were looking for? Before they do 110%, they should maybe come back at about 50% to say, here's where I'm heading. Did I do the right thing? And really having that confidence and self-awareness to understand that they might not know all of the answers right away.
I do believe that some people want to make a name for themselves. Maybe not ask the question, just do it. But there's the situation where you may be doing it wrong. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with initiative, nothing wrong with that. Employers are looking for that. Managers are looking for that. But you don't want to seem like, what's the word? You're not a team player. And what I mean by that is that you're not fully grasping, you're just assuming what the expectation is of what was assigned to you. Can you comment on that?
I think, well, I've had a few interactions like that as well with students actually that were in a work placement that thought they could do it, and without checking in, we're taking meetings and offering incorrect information. So what that does is create work for other people. It's really an emotional intelligence piece to understand that just because you graduated doesn't mean you know everything. And I think it's just the self-awareness of saying, yes, I'm going to go do this. And I would say you balance it with initiative, meaning I've given you a task. This is what I want to see, but you took it a step further. You did a little bit more than the task. Say I asked for a data set and then you graphed it for me. Here's what it would look like. That would be the initiative, I would say, rather than going too far and going and offering help or information to people that was maybe confidential. But what you've done is you've just pushed it out just a bit to demonstrate that you can think, you can analyze what's actually needed in this instance, or something that maybe I didn't think of, that I asked for this, but you gave me more, and it was fabulous. And I have a few students that I've had recently like that just blew my.
I think we're getting ready for a break time now.
So yeah, we're gonna take a station break. I don't want to. This conversation is so great, but tell you what, we got another segment. If you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on and ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
The future is here.
Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible. Integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are. Grow in faith. And build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com.
Apply today and be among the global leaders.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you what, we're talking about professional etiquette, but we also talking about so many other things that goes into transitioning from college, high school, or whatever to a new job. Certain things that are key for growth, certain things for key to learning, certain things for key in ensuring that the job that you chose, that it's going to be some trials and tribulation, and anytime you're switching job or enter a new job field, you got to learn the rules and regulations of the company. But I think most importantly that it's from not just a top down, just like I mentioned earlier, but a bottom up. You have to ask questions. You have to be aware of what your responsibilities are. And so, Jennifer is laying all of that out in her book. And I tell you what, everybody need to go buy that book ASAP. I mean, go get it. Jennifer, what can I get your book?
Amazon. Amazon.can.com has it. I believe Barnes and Nobles carries it as well. I honestly can't think of anywhere else. Probably Kobo and Kindle. There's a Kindle version as well. So,
well, we'll definitely go out and buy that book. Hey, you need to go get that book. Jennifer, to continue our conversation, what are some effective ways that young professionals can build a strong professional network? I mean, besides their college friends, or, always encourage young people before they graduate to do some type of internship. Mm-hmm. That's where you start. So can you kind of discuss some ways you believe they can build their professional network?
I will tell you that takes time, a lot of time, to build that professional network. LinkedIn is a good platform if you want to go electronic, particularly if you put your skills in there. Joining associations, if you are within a particular industry, they always have association boards, association meetings. Attend those, meet people. Even internships are fabulous. Opportunities to volunteer are ways to grow your network. and really in your job place. So make sure when you're talking to people that, particularly if a large company, if that's where you want to stay, and that's a possibility, meet people, attend meetings. When there's a networking opportunity, which sometimes they offer those up, go. Like, even however introverted you are, which I absolutely am, and I find it very difficult to network, put yourself out there and talk to at least one person. And even one person at a time grows your network.
So does your book address hybrid, remote, work status? And the technology today is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
And the generations are always changing. Baby boomers, Generation Z, Generation X. I mean, I've lost count, to be quite honest. I think I forgot what generation I'm in. But does your book address, let's say, give me a perfect example. Let's just do a role. You're the interviewer, and I am a college graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work from home, but the headquarters is located in the city where I live. Now, it's different if it's in another state, then maybe remote work is possible. I understand that. But your company it's in the city where you live. How, as a college person, as a recent graduate, if I want remote work, but the position requires hybrid or in office, should I even apply for that job, or should I use my negotiation skills to try to sway the employer my way?
If it's an entry-level job, you have no negotiation skills. In that aspect, it's entry-level. The expectations are probably laid out in the job advertisement to say it's hybrid, or the expectation is, so many days per week in the office. But hybrid isn't a punishment. Working from home is not always the best thing, especially with a new job. Some areas may require that the first 6 months you're in the office every day. And that's the only way to learn that job, is because of an immersive experience. You don't learn by reading a textbook. You learn by being immersed. And that might be the requirements of the job, and then moving to a hybrid or work from home arrangement. But in an entry-level position, there probably is no wiggle room for negotiation on that if they've got their set rules.
That's a good tip, most definitely, because if a job posting is there and they're laying out the requirements, who are you to think that you're going to change their mind?
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, if you are, let's say, you are looking for remote work, is it wise to apply for companies in a position that you're interested in that are not located in the same state or the same city as you? But some companies say local applicants only, so you got to read between the lines. But if they're saying hybrid, they want you there. You have to be. I mean, come on, they don't expect you to fly to another state to go to work. So does it depend on the industry too, when it comes to the type of work status that you're looking for? It depends on the industry. Like, I'll give you an example. Customer service. You can do that anywhere. You can do that at your home. I believe when you call customer service regarding any, let's say, your utility bill, et cetera, these people are 99% are working from home. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I totally agree. It depends on the industry. If it's clearly laid out that, it's expected that you need to be either in the office or be able to go into the office, and you're across the country, maybe don't apply unless you're willing to move. And there's a lot of expectations that sometimes you just need to go in. They need in-person meetings, and that's okay too. But if it's a particular industry like a telemarketer, chances are that'll be laid out in the job posting that you can work from anywhere. So really read that closely and make sure it matches your skill sets and what you're looking for.
Jennifer, I know we got about 2 minutes left, but this is so important. What if You were fired from your last job for poor performance. Should you tell your prospective interviewing and company that you were fired, lay off? Do they really still look and do background checks as far as contacting the HR department or where you used to work of the reason and the cause of why you were let go? Do they still do that? And is HR required to give that information?
Well, HR can't give a reason that I know of. It depends on the legislation and where you live. But I don't believe they can give a reason as to why you were let go. I would be honest and upfront. I was laid off. This is the reason why. And you can always phrase it as such, so it's not as negative as maybe it sounds. But be honest. They're going to find out anyway, and that just makes it worse for you.
It makes it worse. And I tell you what, Jennifer, this is so great. We got to have you back on again.
Okay.
We got to have you back on again, because this discussion that we had today is so important to everyone, not just people in Canada, not just people in the United States, but all over the world. And this, we 171 countries just heard us. And so I don't know what their rules are, but I thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Dr. Shea Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always, always, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. We'll see you then.